Senator Collins, your main colleague, Senator Snowe, said she'd prefer to wipe out any bonuses to any financial institution receiving government money. Do you agree?
Well, first of all of us are angry that this happened in the first place, and it could have been prevented. It isn't just the head of AIG. The Treasury Secretary could have made, as a condition of receiving the money, a requirement that would have prohibited these bonuses. But as angry as I am, I agree with my colleague that we need to be careful. And the problem with the Senate bill is it is so wide in its scope that it would apply to tens of thousands of employees all across this country who had nothing to do with getting us in this mess.
That's the Senate excise tax proposal, which is only a 35% tax, but it would apply to a far broader number of companies. So you're against both the House and the Senate excise tax?
I'm not against getting the money back. In fact, I feel very strongly that we do need to recoup the money. I'm just not certain that either the House-passed bill nor the Senate bill are the best approach. We need to look for an alternative means of recouping this money that doesn't cause further harm to our economy as we're trying to get banks lending.
Is there another means? I mean, that's the question.
Yes. As Ken Conrad said, I think there are other approaches. We can have the Treasury Secretary put more heat on AIG. He never should have allowed this to occur in the first place. We can make sure that there is pressure for people to voluntarily give the money back, or else they're going to lose their jobs, or there's going to be no further funding for AIG. They would not have jobs were it not for taxpayer money going into AIG. I think that the proposal that the congressman has outlined makes more sense. It's more targeted. But obviously, if Treasury had put provisions in the contract as a condition of receiving the funds, this never would have happened.
House and the Senate this week, and we all saw the reports on Friday from the Congressional Budget Office saying that the president's economic assumptions were a little too optimistic, according to the Congressional Budget Office. They say the deficit will actually be $2.3 trillion higher over the next 10 years than the president estimates. And Senator Collins, you supported President Obama on the stimulus package.
Yes.
Can you support his budget?
No.
Why not?
Because it brings our debt levels to an unprecedented level. It would double the public debt in 5 years, triple it in 10 years, the highest percentage of GDP since after World War II. CBO says by the year 2019, 82% of GDP, that's the equivalent of the public debt. That is not sustainable. It poses a threat to the basic health of our economy.
Senator, I want to bring in Senator Collins on a question related to this, because there's also the question of how the Congress is going to do this, and the debate starting in the House this week over whether the budget will try to be passed with the reconciliation process means simply it gets through on a majority vote rather than has to break a filibuster. Here's what Senator Gregg had to say about that this week.
You're talking about something that has nothing to do with bipartisanship. You're talking about the exact opposite of bipartisanship. You're talking about running over the minority, putting them in cement, and throwing them in the Chicago River.
Vivid words from the man who was meant to be President Obama's Commerce Secretary. But Senator Collins, it's seriously being debated now in the House, putting at least the health care provisions on this fast track that would only require a majority vote. Can you go along with that?
No, it would be a big mistake. I agree with Senator Gregg, if not his metaphor, but he's absolutely right. You don't make major changes in policy using a system that shuts out the Republicans, that limits debate, that prohibits amendments. And I know it's not just Republicans who are concerned about this. There's centrist Democrats who are very concerned about this.